The night was unusually quiet in Oak Ridge, a small town that felt frozen in time. The streets glistened under the drizzle, neon lights from convenience stores reflecting off the wet asphalt. The hum of street lamps and the faint buzz of insects were the only sounds that accompanied the darkness. In a modest two-bedroom house on the edge of town, Isaiah Carter sat on the edge of his bed, lacing up his boots. He had the broad shoulders and steady hands of a man who'd spent years in uniform, but his eyes, those dark brown eyes, carried a weariness far beyond his 32 years. Please subscribe to this channel for more. Tonight marked 3 months since he returned from his final deployment in Afghanistan. 3 months of trying to adjust to civilian life. 3 months of waking up in cold sweats, of jumping at the sound of fireworks, of feeling like a stranger in his own home. "Zay, you sure you don't want me to drive you?" his younger sister Monica asked from the doorway. Isaiah looked up and forced a small smile. "Nah, I'll be fine. It's just Mom's house. I need the drive anyway." Monica frowned. She'd noticed how restless he'd been since he got back. The smallest things seemed to set him off. Loud noises, crowds, even the smell of burnt food. But she didn't press him. Instead, she nodded and said softly, "Okay, just be careful out there." "I always am," Isaiah replied, grabbing his jacket. The drive was quiet. Isaiah kept his hands at 10 and 2, his military discipline still evident in the way he scanned the road, checking his mirrors every few seconds. The rhythmic sound of the windshield wipers felt almost hypnotic as he passed the familiar landmarks. Johnson's Diner, the old library where he studied as a kid. Memories flooded back. He remembered playing basketball in the street with his friends before the war, before he'd seen things that still haunted him at night. Pulling up outside his mother's house, Isaiah took a deep breath. "All right, soldier," he muttered to himself. "Smile for Mom. Don't let her see the cracks." His mother, Angela, greeted him with a warm embrace. She was a petite woman with a strength that seemed to fill the entire room. "Isaiah Carter," she said with mock sternness. "You're late. You know I don't like waiting up." He chuckled. "Sorry, Mama. Traffic. There's never traffic in Oak Ridge. Boy. Come on, your favorites on the stove." Dinner was warm and familiar. Baked chicken, collard greens, and cornbread. For a moment, Isaiah allowed himself to relax. He listened as his mother and Monica talked about church gossip, about the neighbor's new dog, about anything but war and trauma. But then came the questions he dreaded. "So, how's the job hunt going?" Angela asked gently. Isaiah froze, his fork halfway to his mouth. He forced another smile. Still looking. Something come up. Angela reached across the table and took his hand. "You've done enough for this country. You deserve peace now." "Yeah," Isaiah said quietly. "Peace." It was close to midnight when Isaiah finally got back into his car to head home. The rain had picked up, falling in sheets that made it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. He turned on the defroster and gripped the wheel tighter. Halfway down Maplewood Avenue, he noticed headlights in his rear-view mirror. A patrol car. It had been following him for 2 blocks now. Isaiah's stomach tightened. "Relax," he told himself. "You're not doing anything wrong." He signaled, turned left. The patrol car followed. He turned right. So did they. His heart rate picked up. He could feel sweat beading on his forehead. Maybe they're just on their route, he thought. But a voice in the back of his mind whispered, or maybe they've already decided you look suspicious. And then came the flash of red and blue lights. "Damn it," Isaiah muttered, pulling over to the side of the road. He put the car in park, rolled down the window halfway, and placed both hands on the steering wheel, just like his father had taught him when he was 16. "Stay calm. Don't make any sudden moves." A beam of light cut through the rain, blinding him for a moment. "License and registration," a voice barked. Isaiah squinted and saw Officer Darren Cole approaching. Tall, broad-shouldered, with close-cropped blonde hair. The kind of man whose presence demanded attention. "Yes, officer," Isaiah said evenly. "May I reach for my wallet?" "It's in my back pocket." Slowly. Cole replied, his hand resting on his holstered weapon. Isaiah moved deliberately, pulling out his wallet and handing over his license. "What are you doing out this late?" Cole asked. "Just coming from my mother's house." having dinner. Cole studied him for a moment, his eyes narrowing. You live around here? Yes, sir. 5 blocks that way. Cole glanced at the registration and back at Isaiah. You military? Yes, sir. U.S. Army. I just got back. There was a flicker of something in Cole's eyes. Disdain? Jealousy? Isaiah couldn't tell. Step out of the vehicle. Isaiah hesitated. Officer, may I ask why? Don't question me. Step out. Now. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Isaiah took a deep breath and opened the door, stepping out slowly with his hands raised. Cole circled him like a predator, shining his flashlight in Isaiah's face. Any weapons on you? No, sir. Drugs? Alcohol? No, sir. You sure about that? You military types tend to have issues. Isaiah felt anger rising in his chest, but forced it down. I serve this country. Officer, I'm just trying to get home. Don't get smart with me, Cole snapped. Isaiah's heart pounded. The rain soaked through his jacket, chilling him to the bone. Turn around and place your hands on the car. Officer, please. Do it now. Isaiah complied, his hands pressed against the cold metal of his car. He felt Cole patting him down aggressively. And then, what's this? Cole shouted. Isaiah turned his head slightly. What? What are you talking about? Cole's hand flew to his gun. He's reaching for a weapon. Cole yelled, No, I'm not. Isaiah shouted back, I'm not armed. But it was too late. 2 deafening shots rang out, echoing through the rainy night. Isaiah felt a searing pain in his chest as he crumpled to the ground. The world blurred, spinning. He tasted blood. Through the haze, he heard Cole's voice on the radio. Shots fired. The suspect reached for a gun. I feared for my life. And then, darkness. In a single moment, Isaiah went from soldier to suspect, from protector to prey. And Officer Darren Cole had just fired the first shot in a war for the truth. Kindly like and subscribe for more. The rain hadn't stopped. It fell in torrents now, drumming on the roof of Officer Darren Cole's patrol car as he sat behind the wheel, breathing hard, staring at his trembling hands. The dashboard clock blinked 12:47 a.m. in dull red numbers. The world outside the window was an impressionist blur of water and neon. Get together, Darren. He gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. The radio crackled to life. Unit 42, confirmed shots fired on Maplewood Avenue. Do you require backup? Darren's finger hovered over the mic. He exhaled slowly, forcing his voice to steady. Unit 42 to dispatch. Affirmative, shots fired. Suspect reached for a weapon. I feared for my life. Suspect is down. Send medical. There, he'd said the words. The script that had saved so many others like him before. The magic phrase, I feared for my life. The flashing lights of approaching patrol cars painted the street in harsh reds and blues. Darren stepped out into the rain, feeling the water soak through his uniform. Isaiah Carter lay on the ground, motionless, blood mixing with the rainwater as it trickled toward the gutter. Darren knelt by him, pressing 2 fingers to his neck. A faint pulse. Hang in there, soldier, Darren muttered under his breath. But there was no warmth in his voice. It was a line, an actor playing his part. 2 more officers arrived, their boots splashing in puddles. What happened? One of them asked. Darren stood, pulling his soaked jacket tighter. Traffic stopped. Suspect got aggressive. Reached for a weapon. I had no choice. The officer nodded grimly. We'll call it in. Across the street, the glow of a cell phone screen flickered in the shadows. Jamal Turner, a local college student, crouched low behind a fence, his hands shaking as he stopped the recording. His breath came in quick, shallow bursts. He'd been walking home when he saw the patrol car pull Isaiah over. At first, he thought nothing of it, just another routine stop. But something in the officer's tone had made him linger in the rain. And now, oh God, he shot him. Jamal slipped the phone into his pocket and backed away slowly, heart pounding like a drum. Monica Carter bolted upright as her phone rang, its shrill tones slicing through her half-sleep. Hello? Miss Carter? A voice said, "This is Oak Ridge General Hospital. We need you to come in. Your brother, Isaiah Carter, has been admitted. He's in critical condition." The phone nearly slipped from her hands. What happened? "Please just get here as soon as you can." Monica burst through the hospital doors 10 minutes later, her heart hammering in her chest. A nurse met her in the corridor. "Are you family?" "Yes, I'm his sister." "Where is he? Is he okay?" The nurse hesitated. "He's stable for now, but he's lost a lot of blood. The doctors are doing everything they can." "What happened?" Monica demanded. The nurse's lips pressed into a thin line. "The police said he was involved in an altercation during a traffic stop." "Altercation? My brother isn't violent. He just came back from serving this country." The nurse put a hand on her shoulder. "I'm so sorry." Angela arrived minutes later, her face pale and drawn. She clutched Monica's hand so tightly it hurt. "I told him to be careful," Angela whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I told him." Darren sat in a small, dimly lit room, his wet uniform sticking to his skin. The department's union rep, Tom Briggs, leaned over him, speaking in a low, firm voice. "You did what you had to do, Darren. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." "I didn't see a weapon," Darren admitted, staring at the floor. Tom frowned. "Doesn't matter. All that matters is what you felt at that moment. You feared for your life. Say it enough times and they'll believe it. But no buts. You're a decorated officer with 8 years on the force. The department will back you. The public? They'll see a thug who can't follow simple orders." Darren's jaw tightened. He wasn't a thug. He said he was military. "Then all the more reason you had to act fast. PTSD, aggression, you saved lives tonight." Darren said nothing. Tom clapped him on the shoulder. "Let me handle the press. You go home and get some rest." By morning, the headlines had already begun to appear. Officer shoots armed suspect during routine stop. Oak Ridge cop defends life in late-night altercation. Breaking. Black male hospitalized after aggressive confrontation with police. Cable news anchors repeated Darren's words like gospel. "I feared for my life." Isaiah's military service went unmentioned. Monica scrolled through her phone in the hospital waiting room, her blood boiling as she read the comments online. "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes." "Another thug off the streets. Good job, officer." Why didn't he just comply? Her hands trembled. "This isn't right," she whispered. "They don't even know him." Angela put an arm around her daughter. "We'll tell them. We'll make them see the truth." But deep down, Angela wasn't sure if the truth was enough anymore. Across town, Jamal uploaded his shaky cell phone footage to social media. It showed Isaiah standing calmly with his hands up, speaking respectfully. It showed Darren shouting, escalating, and then firing without warning. Within hours, the video went viral. Hashtag Justice for Isaiah began trending. Isaiah lay hooked to machines, his chest rising and falling shallowly. Tubes snaked into his arms. Monica held his hand, whispering through her tears. "Come back to us. Zay, please don't leave me." Angela stood at the foot of the bed, silently praying. Outside, protesters began to gather. Their chants echoed through the streets. "Say his name." Isaiah Carter. No justice, no peace. While Isaiah fought for his life in a hospital bed, Officer Darren Cole was fighting a different battle. One for his career, his freedom, and his carefully constructed lie. But the world was watching now, and the storm had only just begun. Kindly subscribe to this channel. The morning sun rose over Oak Ridge like an accusation, its golden light falling on streets littered with signs from the night's protests. Justice for Isaiah. No peace without truth. Spray-painted messages clung to walls like scars. Stop killing us. Inside Oak Ridge General Hospital, the world was eerily quiet. Machines beeped steadily in Isaiah Carter's room, the only proof he was still fighting to stay alive. Angela Carter sat by her son's bed, clutching his hand in both of hers. Her eyes were dry now, not because the tears had stopped, but because her body had run out of them. Monica stood by the window, scrolling through her phone with trembling fingers. Her feed was flooded with images. Isaiah's face, the viral video, protesters holding candles in vigil. But it wasn't all support. He shouldn't have resisted. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Good cop, bad suspect. End of story. Maybe he was dangerous. Look at his size. He's built like a linebacker. Monica's stomach churned as she read comment after comment. Some anonymous, others proudly bearing their real names and faces. And then her phone buzzed with a new message. Unknown number. Tell your thug brother to stay in his lane next time. You're all on borrowed time. She nearly dropped the phone. Mama, her voice cracked. They're sending me threats. Angela looked up, her jaw tightening. Blocked the number. They keep changing numbers. They're calling me a liar, saying Zay got what he deserved. Angela stood and took the phone gently from her daughter. Don't let them see you break. That's what they want. But Monica could see it. The fear in her mother's eyes. Across town, Officer Darren Cole sat in his lawyer's office, staring at the television. The news anchor spoke in calm, measured tones. Oak Ridge Police Officer Darren Cole says he feared for his life during what he describes as a violent and chaotic traffic stop. Sources close to the department claim the suspect, Isaiah Carter, had been acting erratically and reached for what appeared to be a weapon. Clips of Darren's tearful press statement played on loop. I didn't want to fire, he said, his voice breaking, but I had no choice. I'm praying for Mr. Carter and his family. His attorney, Richard Calloway, smirked. You're winning hearts, Darren. The public's eating this up. I didn't see a weapon, Darren said quietly. You thought you saw a weapon. That's enough. The law's on your side. Darren rubbed his eyes. What about the video? The kid who filmed it. Discredit it. The angle's bad, the quality's poor. We'll say it doesn't show the full context. What if he testifies? Calloway leaned back in his chair, his grin widening. Leave that to me. By nightfall, Oak Ridge was a divided city. On one side, protesters filled the streets holding signs and chanting Isaiah's name. Veterans came out in droves, their uniforms a silent rebuke to the system that had failed one of their own. On the other side, counter-protesters waved flags and held signs. Back the blue. Comply or die. Cops' lives matter too. Police stood like statues between the two groups, their riot shields catching the glow of streetlights. One wrong word, one thrown bottle, and the fragile piece would shatter. Kindly subscribe to this channel. At a dimly lit diner outside Oak Ridge, three men sat huddled over coffee. Sergeant Marcus Reed, Isaiah's former squad leader, slammed his fist on the table. This is BS. Zay's the calmest guy I ever knew. If he says he didn't reach for a weapon, I believe him. Private First Class Lewis, the youngest of the group, nodded. We need to tell people what kind of man he is. They're painting him like some gangbanger. Marcus pulled out his phone and opened a video file. It showed Isaiah in Afghanistan, carrying an injured child out of a burning building. We're not going to let them kill his name while he's still fighting to live. We will go public tomorrow. At the hospital, Monica's phone buzzed again. Another anonymous message. We know where you live. Keep running your mouth, and you'll end up like your brother. Her hands shook. She showed it to Angela, who took a deep breath and dialed the police. Hello, this is Angela Carter. We're receiving death threats. My son's in critical condition because of one of your officers. We need protection. The voice on the other end was cold. We'll look into it, ma'am. Click. Angela stared at the phone. They're not coming. Doctors rushed into Isaiah's room as alarms blared. BP's dropping. We're losing him. Get the crash cart. Angela and Monica were ushered out into the hallway. Monica covered her ears to block the sound of machines and shouting. Please, God, Angela whispered. Don't take my boy. After what felt like an eternity, the doctor emerged. He's stable again, but he's not out of the woods. The next morning, Marcus and Isaiah's military brothers held a press conference. Marcus stood in front of the cameras, holding up the photo of Isaiah saving the Afghan child. This is who Isaiah Carter is. A hero, a protector. He deserves justice, Not slander, not bullets, and sure as hell not lies. The video went viral, countering Darren's narrative. Support for Isaiah surged online, but so did the hate. As Oak Ridge burned with division, the Carter family stood at the heart of a storm. Would the truth be enough to save Isaiah and themselves from the forces closing in, or had the battle already been lost? The storm over Oak Ridge was no longer just metaphorical. Dark clouds rolled over the city as the rain returned in sheets, drumming on car roofs and splashing against the cracked sidewalks. Inside a high-rise office downtown, a different kind of storm brewed, one of strategy, lies, and cold calculation. Darren Cole sat stiffly at the end of a long mahogany table. His lawyer, Richard Calloway, paced like a general preparing for battle. "We're not going to trial to argue facts," Calloway said, his voice calm but laced with venom. "We're going to argue about perception. The truth doesn't matter. What matters is what the jury feels." Across the table sat Eleanor Grant, a PR consultant brought in to spin Darren's public image. "We positioned you as a family man," Eleanor said, "a cop under siege, a soldier in the war against crime. If they see you as human, vulnerable, you win." Darren shifted uncomfortably. "What about the video? The one the kid posted online?" Calloway smirked. "Already working on it. We'll release a leaked police report claiming Isaiah was erratic and aggressive. Plant seeds of doubt. People will start asking, what don't we see in that video?" Eleanor added, "And don't forget the PTSD angle. He's a vet, right? We'll suggest he was unstable, prone to violence." Darren frowned. "But I didn't see him do anything violent." "Stop thinking like a good man," Calloway snapped. "Think like a survivor. If you don't destroy him, he'll destroy you." Angela Carter stood in the corner of Isaiah's hospital room, her Bible clutched tight in her hands. She whispered Psalm 23 under her breath, the words trembling on her lips. Monica sat by the bed, gently wiping Isaiah's brow. His face was pale, his body still. "I can't take much more of this," Monica whispered. "You'll take it," Angela said firmly, though her voice cracked, "because Zay's taking it for us." A knock on the door interrupted them. It was Reverend Parker, the family's longtime pastor, with a solemn expression. "They're saying bad things about Isaiah on the news," he said softly. "We know," Monica replied bitterly. "They're trying to make him out to be some monster." "You need to prepare yourselves," the Reverend warned. "The DA isn't confident. They think it'll be hard to convict a cop, even with a video." Angela's lips tightened. "Then we'll make them confident." Later that night, Monica got a call from Jamal Turner, the college student whose video had gone viral. "Monica, we have a problem," Jamal said, his voice shaky. "A man came to my dorm, said he was from the DA's office, asked me to reconsider my statement." "What? Reconsider?" "He offered me money, Monica. Said I'd be helping the community." Monica felt her stomach drop. "You didn't take it, did you?" I told him no. But then he said if I testify, they'll dig into my past. Said they'd make me look like a criminal." Monica's hand trembled. "They're trying to silence you." "Not trying," Jamal whispered. "They're succeeding. I'm scared, Monica. What if they come for me next?" 2 days later, Marcus Reed, Isaiah's former squad leader, failed to show up for an interview with the DA's office. Monica called his phone. No answer. Angela tried his mother. No one had heard from him. Finally, they drove to his apartment. The door was ajar. Inside, the place was ransacked, drawers pulled open, paper scattered. On the table sat Marcus's phone. Screen cracked, and a single sheet of paper with 3 words scrawled in red ink. "Drop the case." News broke that Marcus Reed had gone missing under mysterious circumstances. On TV, Darren's lawyer smirked as he gave a statement. "It's tragic, but let's not jump conclusions. This community has become so toxic. Perhaps Mr. Reed fled out of fear of violent protesters." Monica threw a pillow at the screen. "Fear of violent protesters?" she shouted. "They're framing us for everything now." Angela rubbed her temples. "This is bigger than we thought." Dove, the DA wavers. In a dimly lit office downtown, Assistant District Attorney Carla Jennings sat nervously with her team. Without Reed and the kids' video, This case is falling apart, one junior attorney said. Jennings slammed her palm on the table. We're letting them win. That video shows everything. The video shows part of the encounter. Another lawyer interrupted. The defense is right about that. And juries are sympathetic to cops. Jennings stared at the photo of Isaiah in his army uniform on her desk. I don't care if they're sympathetic, she said coldly. We're going to fight. But even as she spoke the words, she felt a creeping dread in her gut. That night, Isaiah's condition worsened again. Doctors rushed in, shouting over the alarms. His blood pressure's crashing. Prepare for emergency surgery. Monica clung to Angela in the hallway as the doors slammed shut. Why does it feel like the whole world is against us? Monica whispered. Angela's eyes hardened. Then we'll fight the whole damn world if we have to. Please subscribe for more. In Oak Ridge, truth had become a commodity to be bought, sold, and buried. The Carter family wasn't just fighting for Isaiah's life anymore. They were fighting for his very name. And the enemy had no intention of fighting fair. The courtroom was packed. Reporters jostled for position, their cameras flashing like lightning. Protesters outside chanted Isaiah's name, their voices rising and falling like waves crashing against the shore. And in the front row, Angela Carter clutched her Bible so tightly her knuckles turned white. This wasn't just a trial. It was a battlefield. Judge Evelyn Whitaker banged her gavel sharply, her voice cutting to the murmur of the crowd. Order in the court. We're here for the state of Oak Ridge versus Officer Darren Cole. Prosecution, you may begin. Assistant DA Carla Jennings rose, her heels clicking against the polished wood floor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she began, her voice strong. This is not a case about a split-second decision. This is not a case about a good man making a mistake. This is a case about a pattern of abuse, of lies, and of a system that protects officers like Darren Cole at the expense of innocent lives. She gestured to Isaiah's hospital photo on the monitor. Isaiah Carter survived war overseas, only to come home and be shot in the chest on a rainy night, unarmed, respectful, and compliant. The evidence will show that Darren Cole was the aggressor, not the victim. The defense attorney, Richard Calloway, rose smoothly, his designer suit immaculate. This is a tragedy, he said, his tone dripping with practiced sympathy. But tragedies happen when chaos meets fear. Officer Cole didn't wake up that morning looking for violence. He woke up to serve and protect. But when a man larger than him, combat-trained and erratic, reached for his waistband, Officer Cole had a choice: protect his own life or risk never seeing his family again. We ask you to consider, what would you have done in his shoes? Calloway let the question hang in the air like smoke. Angela was the first witness called. She walked to the stand slowly, her hands trembling as she placed them on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth? I do. Jennings approached gently. Mrs. Carter, can you describe your son Isaiah to the court? Angela's voice cracked. Isaiah is a good man, a soldier. He went to war for this country. He came home to take care of his family. He's not violent. He's not aggressive. He doesn't deserve to be lying in a hospital bed fighting for his life. The jury leaned in, but then Calloway stood for cross-examination. Mrs. Carter, he said smoothly, did you know your son had a disciplinary record in high school? A fight in the cafeteria? Angela blinked. He was 16. A boy shoved his sister. Isaiah defended her. Did you know your son sought treatment for PTSD? Calloway pressed. PTSD can cause violent outbursts, can it not? Angela's eyes flared. PTSD doesn't make him a criminal. It makes him human. The judge intervened. Mr. Calloway, stay focused. Next, Jennings played Jamal's cell phone video for the court. It showed Isaiah standing calmly, hands raised, speaking respectfully. Darren's voice barked commands, escalating until 2 shots rang out. Murmurs rippled through the jury box, but Calloway didn't flinch. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, gesturing to the grainy footage, what you see here is only part of the story. The angle is poor. You can't see what's in Mr. Carter's waistband. Can you say with certainty he wasn't reaching for a weapon? He paused dramatically. Reasonable doubt. That's all we need. And this video doesn't erase it. Sergeant Marcus Reed took the stand next. Isaiah Carter saved my life in Afghanistan. Marcus said firmly, I've seen him under fire. Calm, focused. He's the last man who'd escalate a situation. Jennings smiled. Did Isaiah ever display violent tendencies? Never. But during cross-examination, Calloway pounced. Sergeant Reed, you're Isaiah's friend, correct? Yes. Could that friendship bias your judgment? No. Did you personally witness the incident on Maplewood Avenue? No. Then your testimony is irrelevant to this case, isn't it? Marcus bristled. I know Isaiah's character. But you weren't there, Calloway said coldly. Thank you. The trial dragged on for days. Witness after witness testified, but Calloway skillfully poked holes in their credibility. Angela began to lose hope. They're going to let him walk, she whispered to Monica one night, just like all the others. But then, Jennings pulled out her trump card, body cam footage. It had been recovered from a corrupted file and restored by tech experts. The footage showed Darren's hand hovering near his weapon as Isaiah calmly asked, May I reach for my wallet? Then Darren drew, shouting, He's reaching for a weapon. The courtroom erupted. Order, order, Judge Whitaker bellowed, banging her gavel. The jury looked shaken. For the first time, Darren's confident mask cracked. On the sixth day, Isaiah himself was wheeled into the courtroom. His wounds hadn't fully healed. He spoke softly, his voice raspy. I served this country, he said. I came home to peace, not war. That night, I followed every order Officer Cole gave me. I didn't want trouble. I just wanted to get home to my family. Jennings asked, Did you reach for a weapon? No, Isaiah whispered. I was reaching for my wallet. The jury leaned forward. As the courtroom held its breath, one truth had become undeniable. Isaiah Carter wasn't on trial because he was guilty, but because he had survived. The air in the courtroom felt electric, like the charged stillness before a thunderstorm. For weeks, Darren Cole had looked untouchable. His suit crisp, his demeanor calm, his lawyers masterfully spinning doubt into every corner of the case. Assistant DA Carla Jennings stood at the prosecution table, her fingers drumming lightly against her folder. Inside was a single name, one she hadn't dared to use until now. Your Honor, Jennings said, rising to her feet. The prosecution would like to call a rebuttal witness. Defense attorney Richard Calloway raised an eyebrow. Objection, Your Honor. We were not informed of any rebuttal witness. Judge Evelyn Whitaker peered over her glasses. Overruled. Proceed. Jennings turned to the bailiff. Call Officer Matthew Briggs to the stand. The door at the back of the courtroom creaked open. Every head turned as Matthew Briggs, a young patrol officer, stepped inside. His uniform looked slightly rumpled, his eyes darting nervously as he made his way to the witness stand. Darren's face drained of color. Matt? He whispered under his breath. Briggs sat down and took the oath, his hands fidgeting in his lap. Officer Briggs, Jennings began, her voice calm. How long have you served in the Oak Ridge Police Department? 3 years, Briggs replied. Were you on duty the night of the incident involving Officer Cole and Isaiah Carter? Yes. Did you speak to Officer Cole after the shooting? Briggs hesitated, glancing at Darren. Tell the court what was said. Jennings pressed. Briggs swallowed hard. He told me Isaiah didn't have a weapon. He said he thought he saw something in Isaiah's hand, but then he realized it was just his wallet. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Lies! Darren shouted, leaping to his feet. Sit down, Mr. Cole. Judge Whitaker barked. But Darren didn't sit. His face was flushed, his hands clenched into fists. He's making this up. He's just a rookie. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Calloway grabbed Darren's arm. Darren, sit down. No. Darren roared. They're all against me. Calloway stalked toward the witness stand like a predator. Officer Briggs, he said, his voice icy, are you aware that your testimony could destroy the career of a fellow officer? Yes. Then why give it? Did the DA offer you a deal? A promotion? Briggs shook his head. No. I'm here because it's the truth. I can't live with myself if I stay silent. Angela Carter buried her face in her hands, whispering prayers of gratitude. Monica reached over and squeezed her mother's shoulder. "Mama," Monica whispered, tears streaming down her face. "We might actually win this." But Angela's face was still tense. "Don't celebrate yet," she said softly. "Not while that man is still free." By nightfall, headlines blazed across every screen. Shocking testimony. Fellow officer turns on Darren Cole. Bombshell in Oak Ridge trial. Blue wall cracks. Cole accused of lying in court. Supporters of Isaiah gathered in the streets, their chants louder than ever. But not everyone was celebrating. On pro-police forums, Darren supporters seethed. This rookie betrayed his brothers in blue. Traitor. Stay strong, Darren. We believe you. If they ruin this man's life, there will be hell to pay. That night, Monica opened her inbox to find a new message. Unknown sender. Tell your brother's snitch cop friend to shut his mouth, or you'll find yourself in the same hospital bed. Angela slammed her fist on the table. Enough is enough. We're going to the police. They are the police, Monica said bitterly. Who do we turn to when the ones with badges are the ones hunting us? In a dark motel room on the edge of town, Darren sat on the floor, staring at the gun in his hand. Don't let them take everything from you. Calloway's voice echoed in his mind. You're the real victim here. You're the hero. But Darren's mind wasn't calm anymore. It was a hurricane of rage and fear. They're all against me. Briggs, the Carters, even my own department. The gun felt heavy in his hand. Not like this, Darren muttered to himself. Not like this. As the cracks in Darren Cole's world widened, the truth fought to break free. But in a system built on power and fear, how far would the enemies of justice go to silence it forever? Kindly like and subscribe to this channel. Oak Ridge was burning. Smoke curled into the night sky as shouts and sirens echoed through the streets. What started as a peaceful demand for justice had been hijacked by rage. Windows shattered, fires flared, and in the center of it all, two names reverberated like battle cries. Isaiah Carter, Darren Cole. It began outside the courthouse. Dozens of Darren's supporters, some draped in flags, others wearing masks, gathered, their voices sharp with anger. Justice for Darren. Blue lives matter. Don't let them railroad our hero. Across the street, Isaiah supporters held their own vigil. Candles flickered in the cold wind as they chanted. Say his name. Isaiah Carter. The two groups glared at each other, the line of riot police between them growing thinner with every shout. And then a single bottle flew. Glass shattered. Screams erupted. The line broke. Inside the hospital, Angela Carter watched the chaos unfold on TV, her face pale. They're out there fighting for Zay, Monica said softly. Angela shook her head. No, this isn't fighting. This is tearing us apart. Suddenly, the hospital lights flickered. Shouts echoed from downstairs. They're here, a nurse whispered. Isaiah's supporters had taken refuge inside after being pushed back by police. Darren's group followed, fists pounding on doors. Monica grabbed her mother's hand. We have to get out of here. But Angela didn't move. She was staring at Isaiah, still unconscious in his hospital bed. I'm not leaving him, she said firmly. Not again. As they huddled in Isaiah's room, Monica's phone buzzed. It was a message from Jamal Turner, the student who filmed the viral video. Jamal, I'm sorry. I couldn't take the pressure anymore. They offered me a deal, money, protection. I gave them what they wanted. Monica's stomach dropped. What does he mean? Angela asked. Monica's hands shook as she showed her mother the phone. He recanted. Monica whispered. Jamal turned on us. On the news, Calloway's voice boomed. The so-called key witness has admitted his video was edited and misleading. This proves Officer Cole's account is the only credible version of events. Angela sat down hard, her face blank. They're erasing him, she whispered. They're erasing my boy. The sound of gunfire shattered the air. Get down, a nurse screamed. Monica hit the floor, pulling Angela with her. In the chaos, Sergeant Marcus Reed, Isaiah's loyal friend and veteran brother, burst into the room. "They're coming," he shouted. "We have to move Isaiah now, or they'll kill him." Together, they wheeled Isaiah's bed toward the back exit. But as they turned the corner, a figure appeared, gun drawn. It was Officer Darren Cole. His face was twisted, eyes wild. "You ruined my life," Darren snarled. "Now I'm taking his." He raised a gun. Bang! The shot echoed like a thunderclap. Marcus staggered, a dark stain spreading across his chest. "Go!" Marcus gasped, shoving the bed forward with his last ounce of strength. Angela screamed as he collapsed. "No!" They burst out the hospital's rear doors as police sirens wailed in the distance. Monica clutched her mother's hand as they ran, Isaiah's bed clattering across the pavement. Behind them, the hospital burned. In the darkest hour, the Carter family lost their fiercest protector and gained a new enemy unbound by law or reason. With the city in flames and justice slipping away, only one question remained. How far would they go to survive? The city was unrecognizable. Smoke curled from burned-out buildings. Streets that once carried school buses and grocery shoppers were now littered with shattered glass and overturned cars. Sirens screamed in the distance, but no one was coming to help. The first thing Isaiah Carter felt was pain. It radiated from his chest in sharp waves, each breath like knives in his lungs. Then came voices, muffled at first, then clearer. "Zay! Isaiah, can you hear me?" His eyelids fluttered open. Monica's tear-streaked face hovered above him, her hand gripping his. "Moni," he rasped. "Where? Mama?" Angela's voice came from behind her. "I'm here, baby. We're here." Isaiah tried to sit up, but Angela gently pushed him back down. "Don't move. You're still healing." Isaiah's eyes darted around. He wasn't in a hospital anymore. The walls were concrete, the room dimly lit. "Where are we?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Monica hesitated. A safe house. The hospital wasn't safe anymore. "Darren, he's gone rogue." Isaiah's jaw tightened. Memories came flooding back. The rain, the gunshots. Darren's face twisted in anger. And Marcus. "Where's Marcus?" he asked. Angela looked away. Monica's grip tightened. "Zay!" she whispered. "He saved us, but he didn't make it." Isaiah closed his eyes, a single tear sliding down his cheek. The safe house buzzed with quiet urgency. Isaiah's military brothers, those who had stood with him in war, had taken charge. Sergeant Lewis unrolled a map on the table. "Cole and his militia are holed up in the courthouse," he said. "They've got weapons, food, and hostages. And the police? Half of them are on his side. The other half are too scared to act." "Hostages?" Isaiah asked, his voice steadier now. "Yeah, civilians, journalists, even some of our people." Angela shook her head. "This is madness. We should just get out of the city." "No, Mama," Isaiah said firmly. "If we run, he wins. Marcus didn't die so we could hide." Monica touched his arm gently. "Zay, you're not strong enough for this." Isaiah's eyes burned with determination. "I fought for my country. Now I'll fight for my city." At dawn, Isaiah's voice crackled over the resistance's radio frequency. "This is Isaiah Carter. If you can hear me, know this. Oak Ridge belongs to us, not a fear, not a hatred. Today we will take it back." His words spread like wildfire. Veterans, activists, and everyday citizens rallied under his banner. "The courthouse is their stronghold," Isaiah said. "It's time we storm it." The resistance moved like shadows through the ruined streets, weapons in hand. Isaiah led from the front, his steps slow but steady, pain etched into his face with every movement. As they neared the courthouse, gunfire erupted. Darren's militia had spotted them. "Take cover," Sergeant Lewis shouted. Bullets ripped through windows. Molotov cocktails arced through the air, shattering against police cars. Isaiah ducked behind a barricade, clutching his rifle. "We push forward," he growled. "No more running." Inside the courthouse, Darren paced like a caged animal. "They're coming for us," one of his men said nervously. "Let them come," Darren snarled. "This is MY City. I won't let some thug take it from me." His eyes were wild now, bloodshot. His hands trembled as he checked his weapon. Isaiah Carter dies today, Darren whispered to himself. The resistance stormed the courthouse. Room by room, they fought their way through, freeing hostages and overpowering Darren's men. Finally, Isaiah and Darren stood face to face in the grand hall. Darren raised his gun, his voice cracking. "You ruined my life." Isaiah stared at him down. "You pulled the trigger. Not me. You're supposed to be dead." Darren screamed, firing wildly. Isaiah dug behind a pillar, wincing as a bullet grazed his shoulder. "You want me? Come get me." Isaiah roared, stepping out and firing back. Their gunfire echoed like thunder. Isaiah's last bullet struck Darren in the shoulder, sending him sprawling to the floor. The former officer looked up, blood seeping through his uniform. "Go ahead," Darren spat. "Finish it." Isaiah limped forward, standing over him. "No," Isaiah said coldly. "You don't deserve an easy way out." He turned to the resistance fighters. "Cuff him. Let the world see what justice looks like." As dawn broke over Oak Ridge, Isaiah stood on the courthouse steps, his arm in a sling. Behind him, Darren Cole was led away in chains, his head hung low. Before him, thousands of people gathered, black, white, young, old, all united in one chant. "Isaiah Carter! Isaiah Carter!" Monica and Angela stood beside him, tears streaming down their faces. "It's over, Zay," Monica whispered. "It's finally over." Isaiah shook his head slightly. "No," he said, "this is just the beginning." The battle was won, but the war for justice had only begun. As Oak Ridge rebuilt from the ashes, one truth became clear. A single man can spark a revolution, but a people united can change the world. The courthouse was silent. Not the silence of peace, but the heavy, suffocating stillness of judgment about to fall. In the front row, Angela Carter clutched her son's hand, her eyes fixed on a man in chains standing before the judge. Isaiah sat beside her, his chest wrapped in bandages, his face calm but unreadable. This was it, the moment Oak Ridge and the entire nation had been waiting for. Darren Cole stood with his head bowed, his once proud posture reduced to a defeated slump. His lawyer, Calloway, stood beside him, his sharp suit now wrinkled and dull. Judge Evelyn Whitaker's voice rang through the courtroom like a bell. "Officer Darren Cole, you've been found guilty of aggravated assault, attempted murder, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy. Your actions not only harmed an innocent man, but tore at the fabric of this community. You are hereby sentenced to 25 years in federal prison without the possibility of parole." Gasps rippled through the gallery. Some clapped, others wept. Angela squeezed Isaiah's hand, whispering, "Justice." But Isaiah didn't smile. He only nodded slightly, his eyes still locked on Darren. Outside, cameras flashed as reporters shouted over one another. Isaiah Carter emerges as symbol of hope. Nation divided over Darren Cole's sentencing. Oak Ridge rebuilds after weeks of unrest. People across America tuned in to see Isaiah's first public statement since the verdict. He stood at the courthouse steps, a sling supporting his left arm, his military medals pinned to his chest. Monica and Angela flanked him on either side. The crowd hushed as Isaiah spoke. "I didn't ask to become a symbol. I didn't ask to become a headline. All I wanted was to go home that night. But Darren Cole saw me as a threat. Not a man, not a veteran, not a son or brother. Just a threat. And that's the problem. This isn't about one bad officer. This is about a system that trains men like Darren to fear men like me. A system that protects them when they pull the trigger and leaves families like mine to pick up the pieces. We can do better. Oak Ridge can do better. America can do better. But it starts with all of us. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Today." The crowd erupted in cheers. Weeks later, Oak Ridge began to heal. Murals of Isaiah and Marcus bloomed across brick walls downtown. Volunteers cleared debris from burned-out shops. New community programs rose from the ashes. Isaiah visited Marcus's mother, kneeling at the gravesite where his friend was buried. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "You raised a hero." Marcus's mother placed a hand on Isaiah's shoulder. So did Angela. In the quiet of their living room, Angela sat with Isaiah and Monica, Flipping through an old photo album, there were pictures of Isaiah in his army uniform, Monica at her high school graduation, and Marcus laughing at a barbecue. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share.